Welcome to Hannity. And tonight, unrest on the streets of Iran, Cuba on the brink of collapse. Meanwhile, China, Russia, and Iran, they just lost their biggest ally in the Western Hemisphere. And the air defense systems given to Venezuela by China and Russia, they were no match for the U.S. military. As a result, Nicolás Maduro, oh, look at that. He's now locked up in a New York City jail. And for those of you that are wondering, apparently Greenland is very much in play. I think President Trump may make them an offer they may not want to refuse. Now, a lot is at stake in the coming days and weeks and months. The leader of the Iranian opposition, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, will also join us tonight, and Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Tim Scott, they will be here, along with the U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Michael Waltz. Maybe it's time to say bye-bye to the UN. Now, he will respond to the far-left wannabe diplomats at the UN who are now predictably taking the side of Venezuelan's ex-brutal dictator, Nicolás Maduro. All of this, plus tonight, Hannity shootout. We're going to have our old friend, comrade Bill de Blasio, talk about his fellow comrade, Zoran Kami Marxist Mamdani, and his very extremist views and his team of extremists. Are they now implementing very racist policies in New York City? As you can see, the news is developing at a rapid pace, both at home and abroad. Democrats on Capitol Hill, they're stuck in 2021. Today, they commemorated the January 6th Capitol riots with a very solemn candlelight vigil. This is worthy of a Saturday Night Live skit. They were singing. But we begin tonight with actual breaking news. Now tonight out of Venezuela, the Donroe Doctrine, as it is now called, is in full effect. And Venezuelan oil will soon be flowing right here into the U.S. and hopefully to the people of Venezuela. The president putting on Truth Social, he made the following statement, quote, interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the U.S. This oil will be sold at market price, and that money will be controlled by me as the president of this country to ensure it is used to the benefit of the people of Venezuela and the United States. That is a whopping $2.5 billion for the American and Venezuelan people. And just to recap, in just 3 daring hours inside Venezuela, Trump removed an illegitimate dictator, narco-terrorist, saved Americans in this country from the lethal drug trade that he was profiting off of. They also eliminated a key ally for Russia, China, and Iran, took control over the largest oil reserves in the entire world, and are enriching both the people of Venezuela and the American people will benefit in the end as well. So, yeah, despite the performative groans from the Democratic Party, this move was incredibly popular. Take a look.
Okay, U.S. military ousting Maduro. Pre-ousting, what you saw was the clear plurality of Americans opposed at 47%, just 21% support. Come over to this side of the screen. After the ousting, look at that. The support through the roof. Now we're talking about 37%, well within the margin of error right here of the opposition, 38%. It turns out Americans like what they deem to be successful foreign policy operations. And in this case, they view the ousting of Maduro, at least up to this point, as a successful one, and therefore the support way up. They believe that he should be on trial for drug trafficking. Look at this. 50% of Americans favor compared to just 14% who oppose. So there are very few Americans here who oppose it. Even among Democrats, the opposition number is below, get this, just 24%, is below 25%.
Now, Matt Towery, Insider Advantage, had it at 56%, but make no mistake, this doesn't begin and end with Venezuela. The Trump administration now eyeing swift action in Cuba with a potential oil blockade. That country is in deep trouble tonight. And in Iran, President Trump has vowed to back the protesters, and we have a lot of video to share with you tonight, protesting that country's radical Islamist regime. Take a look at your screen. Major clashes are now underway across the entire country of Iran, including its capital city, where now 36 have been killed. The mullahs, they are losing their grip on power as we speak. Their proxies have been humiliated, their nuclear program obliterated, their economy is in shambles, and they're even running out of water and other critical supplies. And get this, the government is now reportedly offering their citizens a whopping $7 a month Wow, to stop protesting. That's right, $7 a month, a bribe. That is desperate government, short on options and short on cash, obviously. The Ayatollah even reportedly has contingency plans in place to flee to Vladimir Putin's Russia. I'm sure a lot of cash will be on that plane or some type of currency. And what comes next? And what role, if any, will the U.S. play? Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.